Oh, my guy's frozen. Uh, Welcome to Motivation Mondays. Let him pop out, pop back in, brother Amir. Your signal is real crunchy, brother. Can you hear me?
Okay, it is. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but your signals are like your picture and your words ain't matching
It's
up. So
it's
drop out
going
and come back
pixelated.
in.
Okay.
Try to drop out and come back in and get a better connection. Welcome everybody. This is Motivation Monday. My partners get why he gets the Wi-Fi together. Bring him back in the studio. Just want to welcome everybody in. Hope you had a great weekend. I had a crazy weekend. Anytime, this is how I judge things. I'm always taking a high road positivity wise. Negative takes a back seat. And positivity wise, anytime I get to go where I'm supposed to go, get there safely, timely fashion, get the job done, get these people lives feeling good and of laughter and being therapeutic to them, and get back home, no matter if that's 1 day or 5 days or weeks or whatever it may be. And I still got a roof over my head. I still got my crib. I still get my dogs are healthy and good and taken care of. And it's a great weekend to me. I'm that simple. I don't need what a lot of people need. Man, it was bullshit. And this place only had 2 people and nobody came out to this. I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that takes it in, takes the high road of positivity, because you know why? I learned that in my daily going on is that it can always be worse. So when we spend all that energy and time and effort on complaining about what didn't happen or what coulda, woulda, shoulda, we always go the wrong way and not count our blessings of this could have been all bad. And there's a lot of people way worse off than us. So I'm simple. I mean, I was just explaining to, the people that I'm very simple. A good weekend to me is I just got it done. Like, people laugh. I felt like I healed some people from the inside out, and I got there safely. I point A safely, point B back home, point C or D, and that was a great weekend for me. It didn't take. I didn't have to win lotto.
Do all the
I didn't have
extra
nobody had
bells
to
and
go in
whistles.
a brand new car. I didn't need none of
You know what's so crazy? To your exact point, that's the same way I'm feeling. This weekend just passed, turned into one of those moments in time that, sometimes it is always amazing to not really understand the impact of the work that you do in terms
it.
of your support, in terms of how you call and check on people, and all the other various things in between. You may think that it's in vain, or you may think that your presence is or is not felt in a specific way. So the weekend as a whole was, relatively quiet. And then Saturday, some cats that I'm super familiar with decided to do something in Harlem. Saturday afternoon at Row House,
Okay.
and it
Okay.
was like from 1 to 8. And when I say it was such a refreshing thing to see everybody, because it was a grown situation, cats standing outside with cigars and ladies looking incredibly, well to do and put together. And it wasn't on some dress up, it was just a
Yeah.
grown folk situation. It was a brunch,
Yeah.
much like you had yesterday. And quite a few people I hadn't seen in some time, just because, we all been doing all, various things. But when I hit the block, T, this really blew my mind. I come around the corner, jump off the train, I come, turn the block, and literally as soon as I stepped on the block, the entire crew of people who was outside went, "Oh man!" And I felt like Norm from Cheers. I was like, "Wow, this is
Yeah.
crazy!" Like it's
I'm,
it's
I'm
one of the
glad you
most
said. Go
is
ahead.
one of the most incredible feelings in the world, because again, you don't realize the impact that you're having on people. So I had, just brothers coming up. Amir, what's going on, man? It's good to see you, man. You're looking great. Young ladies coming up, same thing. Amir, where you been? We ain't seen you. And I was just explaining to everybody. I said, you get to a point and get to a place in your life, at least for me, now that I've gotten older, where I just don't really feel like I necessarily have to be at everything. I feel like now it's a better thing to kind of pick and choose those moments. And when you do, they seem to have somewhat of a better feel and movement to them. You know what I mean? So to see everybody and like I said, the smiles and just everything, it was epic. So Saturday turned into a great day, and then obviously for those of us who are into basketball, and basketball at this particular time, means something to those of us who are true fans. It was a great basketball weekend, and and all the things in between. So it was a great, great weekend, brother. Great weekend.
Let me tell you something. It's funny you said that part where everybody scream your name or whatever. Because first of all, let me go back to my weekend was great. Like I said, I got to point A, B, C, and D all safe and sound. Get home, I get the tranquility at my crib, my closest friends and peeps, my dog's okay. So my thing started, because of weekend Wednesdays, that time of the month, my weekend will start on a Wednesday. So, I had to host Bill Bellamy and friends out in Harrisburg Wednesday and Thursday. Then I left there. We didn't even sleep, bro. We hit the road after the shows. Drove that little hour, 45 minutes to a 24-hour parking thing in Philly. Flew out of Philly, went to Arizona, to Phoenix, Chandler area, and we had to do Friday and Saturday out there. Same thing for me. After the two shows Saturday night, I got my bag. I go right to the airport. I'm on a red eye coming back. Why? Because I have the brunch show in Jersey that I got to be at the place at 2, and I'm flying into Philly. Got to make my way up Jersey, right? So long story short, that goes fantastic. I mean, everything worked out well or whatever. Now I get back, and all this thing is going. Keep in mind, this is Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
So I leave there. So we already made a plan here at up my way. Those of you who don't know, my right-hand man, Ricky D, Big Rick, has been down for 3 months with the injury to the knee and the ankle. So he's been in a cast. He's been rehab, whatever. But more importantly, and this is why this show is so important. More importantly, as a friend, just in talking to him and certain things, I'm noticing that mentally it's taking a toll on him. Not so much, he's healing. He had the surgery. Surgery went fine. He wore the cast. Cast came off. He's in there. All that part is good. But what we lack to realize a lot of the time is things that happen to us affect us up top. And so he's going, battle a little depression, a little stress or whatever. More importantly, it's affecting his mental where, he kind of should have been out kind of making his rounds, even if it's a cane or a walker, just being active. That's part of your rehab, right? But he never wanted to come out. So what we did a week ago prior to Easter is we used Easter to trick him to come over his cousin Tina house. She was going to cook Sunday, which is true. She cooked, right? But that was part one of the trick. We knew once we got his ass out of the house, we was going to try to force him to get to that bar where he got mad love in the bar. He's a fixture in this motherfucker before this accident, right? To the point where Amir, when he went down, they started to collect. Ain't nobody even asked them for no money. They just started, Rick is hurt, put some money in an envelope type shit. I think the man made a G without doing anything. He didn't eat it. He wasn't looking for it. Wasn't no GoFundMe. That's what I mean by that. Was like a second home for him, just on some chill out shit and good people he grew up with. So we pounded him in the head, We in cahoots with his girl, and long story short, we get him to go to the joint.
Mm-hmm.
So I go in first, and I say to my man is the manager of the bar who's at the door. I'm like, I said, I got a surprise for you. He said, what? What you got for me? I said, I don't know. What you asked Santa Claus for? He said, a pretty bitch. I said, well, this guy's not that pretty, but. And right behind me, walks with the cane is Rick. He loses it, right? I was like, oh my God, because it's been 3 months. Nobody's seen him. And when he steps up those 2 little steps into that bar, Amir, standing ovation.
Yeah.
You would have thought right after the smack, when Chris Rock, I'm sure any room Chris Rock walked in right after the smack. So this is what he got from his comrades and colleagues at the bar. And so now the night goes from 0 to fucking 60 because after I make my way up here, I was supposed to just go home, put my bags down, go eat a dinner, talk to them at the thing. So now we're in another gear. This is what I said to you off air, where I'm so disgusted with myself. I hate. Is something wrong that I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but when in retro, when I look at it, I'm like, yo, I can drink, right? To a point where I'm good. I'm good. Like I've never been a sloppy drunk dude. I never did anything super stupid drunk. You know what I mean? Like I got my faculties. I can move with the best. But it's something about when I get my ass at home, them same drinks, when I get my ass in the house, I'm gonna fucking pass out, right? But in that 10-minute window before I get comfortable and lay down, my mind is thinking he could do all types of shit. So I'm like, you know what? It's been dumb hours since I ate that dinner. You know, let me order me some shit. Let me get my phone at Grubhub. I ordered I know I was fucked up because the shit I ordered. But anyway, I ordered shit. The shit said it's only gonna be 20 minutes to deliver. You think I can hang 20? So me,
Man down.
I wake up this morning mad at myself, looking at my phone with the delivery message. I'm like, I said, this motherfucker. I said, this fucking bag. I go downstairs, walk the dogs. Sure enough, this big bag is sitting there on my stoop. Shipped it out there 7, 8 hours. I don't know, fuck, whenever they deliver, right? I'm just shaking my head. I said, let me put this inside the door. I'll deal with this shit when I finish with the dogs. So the dogs, whatever. And I remember looking in there and I'm like saying to myself, I'm not eating none of this shit, right? It's been outside on the stoop all night. So I don't know what the fuck, right? But I look in there, the fucking drinks are sealed and good. Let me shout out McDonald's because this orange thing, this holds up. This shit
That is
holds up.
hilarious. Yeah. Yeah.
I said to myself, I said, yo, because that used to be my favorite drink before they came out with sweet tea. And I'm like, but the only thing that happened, because I'm looking at the shit itself, I'm like, is maybe the ice melted a little bit. I said, but that orange drink could take a little watering down and hold up. I was right, brother. So all I say is it was a great weekend, and I can understand when you say the part of everybody just screaming, it made you feel a certain way. And you know what came to mind? This whole Rick story that I'm telling. Long story short, he had a great time, and now I bet you his mind is stimulated in a different way because I can see how he just all night. It was the best thing we could have did for him, and you could see his just coming back and the love. It just didn't stop. You know what I mean? But it brought me to the mind frame of you always saying, check on your people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Check on your people.
It's so funny because, again, like I said, and I'm sure, you experience the same thing with Rick. So, I'm out there and like I said, it's people from all walks of life, people I used to work with, people party with, it's promoters up the wazoo. So everybody is in the building and we all are really happy to see each other. Like everybody's really giving hugs and pounds and like, oh my God. And then I just started smiling to myself because, to another point that you're making about where we are right now, seemingly as a collective, maybe not as individuals, but as a collective, this pandemic has taken a toll on a good portion of us in a way that a lot of people aren't being honest with themselves about and or sharing what they really are experiencing and or going through. So I think, you're absolutely right. We really do have to check on one another. We really do have to have, some in-depth conversations in some cases about what's going on and how people feel. And we don't, and I hope this isn't a situation where, people feel like, being transparent or sharing makes you look any way other than humane because everybody's in the same boat. Some people are probably handling things a little bit better than others, but the bigger part of this thing is everybody is definitely damaged by what's happened in some way, shape, or form. And like I'm starting to really see the effects of it again, like you said, as you come across, friends and family, but even as you look at the world on a broader scale, um, just some of the things including the train, and just the various other things that are happening all throughout the country and especially throughout our city. So please, guys, don't allow yourself to get weighed down too much in who, what, when, where, how, and why, as opposed to, again, let me just check in. Let me just make sure this person or that person is okay. And it doesn't have to be a long thing. Like it could
Right.
be a text message, it could be a phone call, it could be, if you got pop-up capabilities, with be a pop-up, but put eyes on, make sure looking and that you're hopefully sharing, because even a very good friend of mine, she said something to me, this may touch somebody who, gets an opportunity, obviously, to see this later. She explained to me that she has buried her entire family, her mother, father, and her sister. So
Hmm.
she's now, left into the world on her own. And she said, Amir, I've been going back and forth with this over the last 2 years or so. She said, so much so that I don't know how to be me, because my every day has been taking care of them, my mom, then taking care of my dad, then taking care of my sister. So I said, well, look, Mom, take it a day at a time, and just know that there's no rush to figure out and get back to being you. This is just an opportunity for you to slowly but surely understand that you don't have those other responsibilities so tough anymore. So now you can do nicer things for yourself too, and for yourself, because that's something else that people take for granted. When hear of the beautiful shows the talent is doing, around the city and in the various cities around the country, do yourself a favor, treat yourself, get
Yep.
out, get your laugh on, see, new and other comedians who you may or may not be familiar with. Get familiar with places that you don't ordinarily frequent, a new comedy club, a new sports bar, or wherever, the shows are going down. Look, we've done everything else. We partied, we've turned the cities upside down one way or another. Now it's time for a lot of you guys to start focusing on your own happiness, your own mental state, and most importantly, just being in the moment and being present. That is major, 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 because as we can see, every time you look up, fortunately, unfortunately, we seem to be losing somebody in some way, shape, or form. I got up this morning to K Slay, and at first,
Yeah, it's crazy.
wasn't, I'm familiar with him. I didn't, had the opportunity to meet him on a few occasions, but I don't know him as I know, certain other DJs. But still, to watch that and to see everybody speak of him and about him was just like, man, So this is why I really do encourage everybody: go link up with your friends. Go have that dinner with somebody who, you've been dying to catch up with. Pick up that phone, make that phone call, chat for an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever the case may be, 30 seconds, whatever. Shoot that text message out. But more importantly, just make sure you're being present in each and every moment, because all the moments count. Don't just think to yourself, it's only these moments that count. All of them count, or they should. But
Yeah,
I can share
it's
that.
the way it goes, brother. Here's the thing. I made a joke on the way coming back in on the plane. My two flights coming back home, I had to cut through Phoenix to Charlotte, Charlotte to Philly. And I made a joke that it's the whole bit I'm going to be putting out there for the next, probably the rest of the year. That because what brings this up is just so you don't think I'm bipolar or some shit like that. Breaking news just came through my computer. A federal judge this morning struck down the Biden administration mask mandate for airplanes and public transportation. And this is
Mm,
huge, right? So what they're saying now is they're waiting now to see if the Justice Department steps in to halt the ruling, or there's a file for an appeal or whatever. But this just happened like
wow.
within a few hours, right? So I had made this joke when I came in on the two planes because something stood out to me, and I was like something's standing out, but I can't put my finger on what the difference is. Why am I even like something's different? The airline prices have gone back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the most part, the cheapy freebies and that made everybody jump on a plane and fucked up all that violent shit you've been seeing in the news on the planes is because you have a crop of people who are not used to flying. Now, I'm not saying nothing derogatory about them, but they're not used to flying. They're used to traveling a certain way. So they don't know that, oh, they're just taking the same demeanor and the way they move onto this other thing. Now, transportation, public transportation, when you purchase it or whatever, is no different than when you go buy shit in the store.
Yeah.
According to my lifestyle, I may or may not shop at Versace. I may not stop at fucking Foot Locker. I might go to Goodwill or the cheapest thing, thrift store, whatever I can find, because it's most cost effective for my way of life, right? That's how transportation is. You know, the bus is cheaper than the train. And the train's a level up, but the train is also cheaper than the airplane.
Yeah.
And the airplane is a level up, but with the commercial flight and a private, chartered flight is even more expensive. So there's all these levels of fees and the prices for things if you're going to travel. So all that violence we've been going through the last few years, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, they wilding on the planes." Yeah, because you mix and crops of people, and those who are used to one thing have to talk to the people who are not, and that talking fucking heads butt sometime, and all hell break loose. So my 2 flights home, I'm like, yo, these 2 flights were beautiful. These are beautiful flights, right? I'm like, and I'm looking around, well, the bag is clean, walking through the turn. I'm like, you know what? I didn't put 2 and 2 together. When I looked at these expensive ass tickets to go somewhere, I didn't put 2 and 2 together that, okay, motherfuckers is getting back on buses now. Niggas getting back on trains. Niggas is driving. Niggas, niggas is walking. Niggas is like, yo, because now that $50 to go to, people go everywhere, $50, $75 when it dropped. Now, like, take like Phoenix, for instance. I look at those tickets, they were $800, $900 for the weekend.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn. So now, and somebody said to me when I was joking about it, he said, well, how you know that's what it is? I said, well, I know bus people. Let me tell you something. Bus people, this is how I knew they was on the planes, because it was a lot more duffel bags and less rollaways.
Yes. 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 Not to mention the headscarves and
That's where the
and
bonnets
the
came from.
bonnets. Yeah, what? So it's you know what's so funny? The whole energy of that look and feel of it is so much different. You are absolutely right. And the funny thing is, you know, you I'm thankful and mindful that some people have had the opportunity to now travel in those ways. But I do hope going forward, if they decide to continue along those lines, to your point, come on, y'all, we got to do better. Like some of these trips I was on, same thing. I was like, who, how did you we not, you don't even want to talk about that. I saw a picture. It looked like 2 young ladies had their actual bathing suits on and was getting ready to fly somewhere. I was like, is there a pool on the plane? Like, what are you doing? Like, we, is a
Yo,
jacuzzi is a jacuzzi in the back? Like, where, where we
bro,
going with this, love? Like,
to see it though this weekend, like,
yeah,
and I run so much that when I'm on and off the plane, a lot of times I'm not trying to pay attention. And it's funny because both times is like I need these flights for sleep. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
the red eye, dumb, wee hours, like where you're going to actually start your day coming off these planes. So those little 4 or 5 hours are going to be your sleep for the night, right? And it's amazing that I picked up on it because I was kind of like, I was getting my sleep. I was rested on the shit, wee hours. But I'm like, and the dead giveaway, the first thing that stands out is when the plane lands, right? Plane people don't jump right up. You know what I'm talking about? Like
yeah,
when the plane lands and they go boom, where you can take your seatbelt off, you just hear seatbelts clicking. Everybody moving casually slow. Some get up, want to stretch their legs. Some wait till the door open, but more importantly, they move in an orderly fashion.
yes,
Now,
yes.
the last 2 years with the bus people,
Yo,
you know how many times I heard this shit? Plane just hit the ground. Boom.
scared.
Can you please sit down? We ain't get to the gate yet. We're still taxing shit.
Yo, T, you ain't never lie. And you add to that the whole like, trying to get their bag. Nobody is taking your bag, ma'am. It's not my fault that you were late, or sir, that you were late to the plane and you had to put your bag way up in the front and you sitting way in the back. It's okay. Your bag's gonna be there. Trust me. When you get there, we're gonna allow you to get your bag. Everybody calm
Yeah.
down. I
And
hate the people who don't have, to your point, the etiquette of letting the rows come out in front of you. Calm yourself down. It's let
they
people
used
out.
to jump up, bro. I used to say to myself, where they go? And I had to keep reminding myself, because that's the thing. If you're a plane person, you don't understand. You keep asking the same question over again. Like, what's wrong with these people today? Like, why they can't? You're not factoring the whole big picture. That is not these people today, bro. It's these people during these times. Like, you just made a plane ticket $50. So the average motherfucker is going anywhere, everywhere. I know a bunch of people. I know a bunch of people that are bus people and was like, hey man, every time I spoke to them, yeah, we going to Cancun. We going to Cancun with $75. I done went too. We on Aruba. We going to, because the fucking tickets were so drastically low, people were taking advantage of it. And if you didn't have restrictions on your shit, if you're in another country like the islands,
Yeah,
your island wasn't restricted, shit, the resort was dropping their prices. So
as well.
motherfuckers was going away for a 2-week vacation for $150. I would have
Super
did that shit
facts.
too.
Super facts, T. And again, it's all contingent again on, you know, let's be mindful. Let's be thankful. Let's be kind to one another. Because I say it all the time. I know people
Yeah.
don't think that there is something to be said for that, but there is, y'all. It's major. Like it, I'm almost uh shocked when you find yourself in certain situations and people aren't being kind, because I realize that there is a sense of uh, relief and or exuberance when you are found that people are treating you kindly. I was same event was happening at Row House. Diagonally across the street on 8th Ave is Boulevard, which a partner of mine's, that's his best friend's restaurant. So I went over to Boulevard because like Row House was crazy, and I was like, you know what? I'm still hungry. I'm doing Ramadan, so I can't eat until after the sun goes down, all that stuff. And the whole early evening, everybody's like, "Hey, what's up? What you drinking?" I'm like, "I'm not drinking anything. I can't do anything until the sun go down. So y'all got to give me a minute." Anyway, I make my way over to Boulevard. I get in the Boulevard, and there was some HBCU after celebration going on. So all of these people in there, HBCU people. I didn't go to
Right.
a HBCU, but I was like, okay. So I saw the chef. I saw, I know the owner. So he was like, man, let me get you a table. Got me a table all by myself. I just wanted to watch the game and get something to eat, T. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm in the cut, chilling. This young lady makes a beeline to me. Sir, are you okay? She was like, I noticed you've been sitting here for a while. You haven't had a waitress. I said, no, I'm fine. I know this is a event going on. I'm good. So she gets a waitress to come over. They take my order, the whole nine. And then, as it turns out, there was some people in there that I knew, but I didn't see them when I walked in because I wasn't in that frame of mind. You know what I'm saying? T, I'm like, look, I'm hungry. I want to get some food. I'm just trying to eat and chill. So they make their beeline over to me, and then the best thing, and this is also why I say, it's so imperative to be mindful of what you're saying and what you're doing. Over the last few weeks and months, I kid you not, just about everywhere I've gone now, somebody has come up to me and said, aren't you A-Rock Sealy, or don't you be doing, shows with comedians and stuff like that, which is dope. And I'm mindful and I'm thankful for it. It even happened at Boulevard, or one of the waiters in there. He said, bruh, I know you from somewhere. I said, nah, bruh, I just got one of those faces, trying to be funny. He said, nah, I seen you somewhere. He said, you be doing lives with comedians. So I said, yeah, I have done, a few or whatever. So he was like, nah, he said, man, I got to tell you, he said, I think you've been on with talent and this and that and the third. He said, yo, you be dropping some real dope stuff, man. I just wanted to tell you I appreciate it. So, again, I'm humbled by it. I said, thank you, brother. Just, cool. I said, I'm, mindful and thankful. I said, talent has, allowed me to share, the same, podcast and, same space with them. I said, and we just having fun. I said, we trying to inform the masses as well as, entertain them at the same time. I said, T is great at that. And I'm just there to, kind of ping off of him. But he was, he really was like, nah, man, I'll be checking it out, man. Y'all doing a hell of a job, man. And I've been telling people that as well because I had people coming up to me at the other event. Yo, I've been watching your lives, man. It's dope. You're stepping into yourself. You're really doing you. I said, man, listen, I'm just mindful and thankful
Right.
that you guys are paying attention. I said, because in all fairness, I'm so focused and in the moment when Talon and I are doing these things. I said, I don't even really pay attention. I said, now, every now and again, I will tell y'all that I have moments where in the moment I'm even having an out of body experience because sometimes I can't believe some of the stuff that I said. I'd be like, did I just say that? In my mind, I said, but that's all a part of why this is so important to me and why it's so imperative that I think all of you guys tell your stories. Be, like I said, be present, be happy. Those are choices. That's not something that somebody else can bestow upon you. Those are things that you got to bestow upon yourself. But it starts with understanding who you are first and foremost, and then secondly, understanding the things that make you happy. Saying this not a group project. People kill me with that. Yo, my significant other, my girl, my guy. It's not a group project. You're the only person who knows what makes you happy. That's not a group project. They can add to it from time to time, and maybe
Right.
bring some stuff in. That is a you thing, and if you don't focus on that, if you don't do stuff to improve it and be good, then what are we talking about? Because that's the major portion of this that everybody needs to focus on and needs to really look at. You know what I mean, Tay?
Yeah, my thing is like this, bro. And we try to do it every week. Like you say, the perfect synopsis is what you just said. We try to keep people informed, at the same time entertain them. And that's hard to do because a lot of people don't retain or hear information sometimes. And I had a couple of conversations with a couple of my comedian friends over the last week, where I had to say that to three different people. I was like, you don't retain the information I give you. Like, and one thing about me is, and it's probably aggravating to anybody, but I know for a fact for myself is I hate keep saying the same thing over and over again. Like if I'm really trying to talk to somebody and help them benefit and give them information, I hate the fact that I tell you something, right? I sit down, let's say just generalizing 20 minutes straight, I'm talking to you and telling you how it's going to go down and boom, boom, only for the next day or two you to come and ask verbatim the plan I just told you. I'm like, God damn, so you ain't gonna listen to shit I'm saying. We're just gonna just talk to be talking because I don't just talk to talk. Like I'm really so that's what this show is about. We're trying to give people information, entertain them in the meantime. But if they don't retain it, it's such a waste, man. Like I listen, even though I'm on here with you, sometimes you drop a jewel that I didn't hear and I go, and I'll turn around and apply it or I'll ponder on it for a certain amount of time or whatever case may be, because it was just that. It was a jewel. So we got to do more of that. And here's the thing. Those who don't know, in Arizona, I had my son with me.
Nice.
Amir, when I tell you, I was like flabbergasted. It's just my nature that I don't really wear it on my sleeve or say too much shit or whatever. 'Cause I go through the motions, but in my heart of hearts and in my mind and my spirit, this was crazy. Like it was as much as he's still in a level of aspiring, it was inspiring to me.
Yeah.
Like something I got two pictures on my phone. Like I felt like this guy. I hate when I tell stories and tell on myself. It felt like I was that groupie in your hotel room. They just laid down, and now you taking a nap and they doing this shit. They doing the selfie over the shoulder, like I'm in here with this nigga. You know what I mean? Like I'm in here with this nigga. That was me with my son. I'm like, I look, he taking a nap. I'm like, we on the road. I'm in the show, and my son with me, right? Now to watch him maneuver, carry yourself, hang out the way he did, tell the joke, do the work. Like I'm like, he's built for this. He's gonna be great. He's gonna be fine, right? It was so funny to the point where we go, the same promoters that do our shows, you go like a block and a half over, and he got the after party, some club he promotes it, right? We go in there, we leave 2 shows. Now, mind you, this Friday night of me, so everybody's kind of got that jet lag shit kicking in. Ain't nobody slept. Everybody been up since the wee hours, tired. But we going to this after party because they got a little fish and chips. We need some fish and chips in our system, whatever. And we get there, this shit is rocking, right? Chicago DJs or whatever. My son's the youngest motherfucker. You got me, Aldo, my friend, comedian TP. Everybody's 45, 55, you know. This little motherfucker is knocking on 30, right? He go in there, the music blazing, chicks dancing. He leaned over to me, he said, I know I'm getting old. This music's too loud. Yeah, that is classic. He said, and I know I shouldn't be feeling this way, let alone saying it to you. He said, but yo, I feel like the old dude in the club. I'm like, yo, why is this music so?
Yeah, it is amazing, T, because like you said, you smile about so much stuff. So, again, going back to Saturday, and again, it was the smorgasbord of just about everybody you could think of. Gentleman Bill Foster was there from Harlem. My man Chris Latt was there.
Wow.
It was a ton of people who you may or may not have seen in some time. So all of us is in there, we standing around, we looking at each other. Everybody's style game is what it is. So cats got fedoras, people got baseball caps, people got on bucket hats. Like it's literally everybody looking everywhere imaginable, but grown. So I'm standing by Chris Latt, and he leaned in and he said, "Yo, Amir, what was the last dope party you was at?" I turned to him and I said, "This one here." Yo, he bust out laughing. I said, because we don't have stuff like this no more. I said, we in our 50s and all that stuff. I said,
Right.
everything is geared towards young people. And I'm not mad because it's their turn, T. I promise you. That is not what I'm saying. It's their turn, your son, my daughter, the list goes on and on. It's their turn. But what I do smile about is the fact that where we are now, because there is, generational music, generational experiences. It is so fun to stand around and bask in that in a real sense. Because like the DJ who they had, his name is Prime. T, when I tell you this dude was digging in the crates and had the party rock, yo, it's a great old school party when you can play five heartbeats. Is there a heart in the house tonight? And everybody sing, yo, the whole spot was singing, T. Everybody. I was like, yo. He said, I'm gonna take it back. He said, I'm looking around. We got grown
Right.
folks in here. Let's play some
Right.
grown things. He put that on T. The whole party was singing along. I was like, yo. I said, who puts this on in a party atmosphere? Like, you
I would
understand what
do
I'm
I
saying?
would do dumb shit like that.
But it made such great sense, and everybody appreciated it because it's not something that you would ordinarily hear. He did a great job of not playing, how we have that 40 or so songs that we always play at every event. He played some of those, but then he dug in the crates and brought out stuff that we was like, "Oh, wait a minute, sir. You over here just really showing out." But it had that whole vibe. And then everybody, like I said, if they weren't taking selfies, they had like three photographers in there. So it's all these cameras going off and everybody, taking pictures. And it was just the true energy of feeling like you're older now, appreciating being older now,
Appreciate that shit though. Yes,
and
sir.
and all the things that went along with it. So when I say it was a dope situation, I told him, I said, man, listen, if I don't do nothing else this weekend, y'all absolutely made my weekend with this event alone. I said, no matter what else happens, I'm good.
You
And
know
I
what just
really
popped
was.
into mind? You know what just popped into mind when you described that Bismarcky?
Mm,
Because
wow.
when Biz got out there and started doing the celebrity DJing thing, he was more of that guy. I mean, his skills, came all the way back and he was whatever. But when he first came out, Biz was took more pride and time in developing those songs outside the box. But they was culture classics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even though you probably were not supposed to play this shit where we at, everybody singing along with it. Like, oh, like he was that guy. He was great at that. And I remember my first time had an experience with him DJing, because keep in mind, I knew the motherfucker forever, but we was always around some hip hop or some funny shit. Like it was either hip hop or comedy you know what I mean, or a combination, but it was never him in his realm of music doing his thing. So the first time was at Club Slate, South Beach.
Okay.
And I think we was down there for the film festival weekend, and one of the nights his party was at Slade, and he's the star DJ, whatever. I said, we're gonna go support my man. I heard he's DJing over there, whatever, whatever. And went in there, and they was walking us to a section, and they made eye contact because this elevator with a DJ at. He was like, "This is really get your ass a bit." So then we started kicking, and that actually was the first time too, coincidentally, that I witnessed somebody out and about doing more like the virtual DJ thing. He didn't have, because here's the funny thing, he's playing and playing, and I'm looking at him and I'm like, he's killing it. And they got the, what do you call them, the CDJs are there, right? The disc.
Okay.
But he's not using it the way I know. I'm just seeing him look at the screen, seeing him all night. So I don't even pay attention that he don't have a crate of records or a crate of CDs, right? So I leave because everybody's still partying, but I'm like, I'm good. You know, I'm good. I'll meet y'all back at the joint. I'm getting the pool, whatever. So I'm outside waiting on, I'm not waiting. I come outside. He's sitting on the hydrant waiting for his man to pick him up, right? So I come out, he's like, gee, you a good time? I was like, yo, this nigga killing in there. Da, da, da. He said, yeah, I'm waiting on my man. Scoop me, going to the hotel. We on the other side of the bridge. And I was like, where your crates, though? He said, crates? He said, nobody, crates no more. I said, bro, you just played shit out of the goddamn, where the crates? And he went in his back pocket, pulled out a thing no bigger than, like a little case, like no bigger than this, right? And he opened like zipper, Velcro, like a velvet joint. And he opened it, and this motherfucker in the inside had about 8 little SD cards on each side. 8 on each side. And he was like, "So all the music right there, baby." I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah."
Wow.
He said, "You seen the CDJs?" Now this, mind you, we're light years from that. Now, like if I show you my equipment and what I use, it's light years from the moment I'm talking about. But this was the beginning of it, right? So, boom. Hence me getting back into my DJing and my music, because I was like, oh, I could do that. I ain't got to go find records and do that shit. You know what? I'm getting back in it, right? So I get back in it. And the first person I remember telling, because I'm at Kiss during the time, I met Kiss FM. And Chuck Chillout did like noon, the mix at noon with Shayla or some shit. And I remember him coming in, and I was like, yo, blah, blah, blah. And we talking, and I was working on something in there. So he see my little unit. He said, what the fuck is that? I said, no, I'll be DJing. Man, T, you bullshit out here. Little shit right here. I said, but it's real shit, Chuck. You should look into this, man. Look how easy it is. Look at my screen. Look at it. Man, fuck, that's pussy. That ain't real DJing, right? So I said, nigga, fuck the computer part. You don't have to carry all these records, right?
Yeah.
Man, fuck that. That's real DJing. With it. Fast forward, not even a year and a half. It had to be like right around a year. I seen that motherfucker in the club in Brooklyn and went to say what's up to him and looked and seen that he had I looked at that. I know he thought I forgot about the whole thing. I looked at that shit. I looked at him. I said, yo, Chuck, word? He was like, yeah, my nigga, you right. I had to get rid of that. He said, niggas can't be carrying a record. And it's funny as hell. The part that I never thought of, he said, T, not only do you not have to carry all these records, he said, you saving $400 or $500 because that's what they paid the assistant dude with them to carry the records. He said, shit, that's $400 or $500 go back in my pocket because I don't need that extra guy not to pay him. He said, but if you lugging shit up and down stairs and elevators and dollies and all that, you got to pay these guys. He said, so it depend on the artist, the DJ, what he making. That guy make $400 or $500, each gig. So, but I say all that to say, when you said the story about the guy hitting certain music and us chiming in and singing along with the 5 Heartbeats and all that, that's us as a people. Our culture's always been like that. When we get to a certain place, we rock out with our cock out all fucking day. I got a quick story because we got about 15 minutes. I want to get your opinion on now, because this, I always feel one way, and most of the time people hate that I feel that way. I don't know if you've seen this story. It was out. It keeps circling out. It's not new, but it's regurgitating because of this new lawsuit. 17-year-old CJ Dorley. It's a little young boy named CJ Dorley.
Okay.
Just a little while back, he's a teenager, 17 years old, and he died by suicide. He killed himself.
Oh my goodness.
The word is there was a bunch of pressures from people on social media, and he was now they describe it as he was addicted to social media, right? He was really whatever. So he ends up killing himself. When they go through the social media, they're saying, oh, because cyberbullying, or they made him feel some sort of way, whatever. So fast forward, now his parents are suing Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat.
Oh wow.
So
Wow.
people out there, we type in the comments. We want to know how you feel. Talk to each other. Do what you got to do. I want to know how Amir feels. Like me, let me say this first and foremost. I feel like if I'm a judge, or if I had the opinion that whether this goes forward or not, I would smack this all the way down. This is another example of us wanting everyone else to police our kids than us. Anything happens to our kids, the blame goes in so many places other than the first place it should stop. First stop on that bus is you, as the parent. We don't want that. You know, every time something happens to a kid, what do? School's fucked up. You know, his friends is fucked up. This area is fucked up. You know, the psychology, you know, everything but you.
Where the blame should really go.
The first line of defense is home and the parents. You know what I mean? What you allow them to do, what you don't allow them to do. Like last night, my dude said his granddaughter is, he said, 4 years old. He said, shit, she got a phone. She don't have a computer and all that on it, but she can call a number. You know what I mean? You can call mommy, you can call daddy, you can call grandma, whatever. That's what I'm saying. Like, so some of us have different leadways and benefits we give our children and ways that we're raising them. And then in the long run, something hits the brick wall or goes wrong. And we're looking to put the blame elsewhere. You're saying, this is their description, not mine, that he's addicted to social media. You're saying that. So you're admitting of an addiction somehow, some way. But when he goes too far and takes himself out, that problem falls on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. How you feel about this, brother?
Well, what's so interesting? This is, one of those things that has been sticking in my craw for a minute, because I feel like it's not something that is only something that our young people are having to deal with. I think this is something that our elders are having to deal with as well at this particular time and at this juncture of the way the world is set up. I really think that, to your point, first and foremost, as parents, we have to understand it is our jobs to do the best we can to love on our children, to make them feel important, to instill in them a sense of importance, a sense of self, a sense of loving themselves. And then last but not least, it's also important for us as parents to have those conversations with our children about the dangers of certain things. Social media happens to be one of them. The funny thing is, I was having this conversation on and off throughout the entire weekend and the last few weeks, just in general, talking to people about how now, seemingly, to your point, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, excuse me, whether it's Snapchat, whether it's Twitter, and any of these, the various apps, they have taken the place of people building real relationships and friendships, like, what we grew up on. We grew up on, I had to go ring, your mom's doorbell. Excuse me, Miss Such, can Talon come out? We're gonna play some football. We need to know if, you can come out and play. We don't have that anymore. These kids are now able to, obviously speak to each other, in the same medium that you and I are doing this, whether it's through the actual phones themselves. So, an iPhone could speak to another iPhone, or the other Android phones could speak to other Android phones. So we no longer do what we used to do, which is be in each other's face and have these same conversations. And I think that it's detrimental on all levels because I think what's starting to happen is I think it's made us much more anti-social than it's made us social, even though they call it social media, because I think people are getting squared away in. And it's funny that you really brought this up because I don't know if everybody's paying attention to how much the word meta is being used on a constant basis now. In just about everything, if you really look around, if you're paying attention, meta is being used in some way, shape, or form. But I bring that up because I think the next space that we're getting ready to go into beyond this is what this new meta universe is that they're speaking of, where you're in a virtual reality based off of being in real reality. And I think that that's going to be a scary place to be as well, T, because I think, again, what's going to happen is we're isolating ourselves and each other much more so than we've ever done before. And family trips and um, uh, um, what you call the family reunions and all that stuff are going to start being a virtual thing versus a real thing where you get to look at your cousins, you get to look at your auntie and them, and you get to speak to the elders in your family and, you know, and all the stuff and get to go to the places where you're supposed to go because you're supposed to go to your great aunt's house down in North Carolina or in Barbados or whatever. So you can see where your lineage is, where you really come from, what is a part of you, what's part of your foundation. And I'm scared because I realize that, you know, thankfully I've had, you know, our turn up till now and we're continuing to, you know, move in this space as best we can. But I worry for our kids because I'm not sure if they're going to be able to build the same sort of lasting friendships, relationships, and things that we were able to build. You know, so many people are finding out that, you know, your 30 years in the game is the same as my 30 years in the game. And they like, I mean, I don't understand. I said, next time you really have a conversation with talent, ask them. I said, they'll tell you. Amir's been with us since day one. As just as long as we've been doing stuff, Amir's been there. You just didn't know him then because you weren't around. Amir's been here. He's just resurfaced because now, you know, we picked it up, you know, where we dropped it off back. I don't know if you saw the picture that Michael Carter Jr. had put on his Instagram, but he put up a picture with you, me, him, KB, and TK Kirkland, and I was like, yo, first of all, I don't even know when this picture was taken, but I had to smile because I was telling somebody, I said, yo, this to show you how much stuff I've done with this man. I said, I don't even remember what year this is. I don't know what the event is. I said, but the fact that Talent's in a suit tells me that it was something probably that he was celebrating much more so than myself. I said, because y'all know the amount of times y'all have seen Talent in a suit. So I was making some people laugh with that. I said, but I say all that to say that's to also speak to who and what we've been and how we've been able to build our friendship and our relationship over the years. When, as to your point, these young people, I know so many people who, if they post things, I mean, I'm upset because I didn't get enough likes. And I'm not talking about kids. Like I said, I'm talking about grown people. And I'd be like, why are you worried about the likes? I said, man, listen, if you post something and for you, it rings true to your spirit, then just let it linger and ring true to the same people who are just like you. It'll find its way, but don't overthink it. Don't make yourself crazy about it because you think that in some real odd way it makes a difference because it doesn't. What makes a difference is you do what your spirit tells you to do and it comes from your heart. And I mean that. So I hope that, you know, if anything you guys are taking away from, you know, what I'm saying is, like I said, love on your children, love on each other, but give them the foundation they need to know that it's not about the likes. It's not about the followers. It's not about how often you get on here. It's about the quality and it's about the quality. Forget quantity. It's about
Yeah,
the
quality
quality.
over quantity all day.
You know. So but that's wow. That's crazy, T.
So real
That
quick,
is
what do you
crazy.
think? Do you think that
I think I think it should be struck down, but I think that we to your point, we really have to have this conversation, or they have to start this conversation with these parents now and say to these parents, we need y'all to start going back to the old school of paying attention to your children. These are your children. You bring them into the world. I get it. Well, he's got a computer and he's got a laptop. and he's got a PS5 and all this stuff. And I get all of that. I do. But that doesn't mean he still doesn't need for you to go in there and go, hey, son, or hey, daughter, what's going on? How you doing? Are you okay? What's going on in your world?
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. We still need that. You know
See,
what I mean? That's a major part.
that's my whole thing with it. It's like we have to take control back. Because at the end of the day, man, when something goes wrong or something just ain't right, you can't. It's not going to do you no good to just point a finger at somebody else. Everybody's going to go, "But you're the mom. You're the dad. Talk to me." Like what? You know what I mean? Like
where'd you drop the ball, or how'd the ball get dropped? Exactly.
my son, he was in his heaven those 2 days in that room, sharing a room with me. He was in heaven because he was asking all types of left, right questions. He's a grown man now. So I'm sure as you get grown, because I did the same shit. I used to sit around my mom's bar and pick her fucking brain and ask these questions that I may have had and didn't even know was still back there in the back of my brain. And they just come up, oh, yeah, mom. So remember when I was, just because you wanted the clarity and closure and understanding what it may be. And he did that. You know what I mean? I respected that. But that comes from a certain level, a certain upbringing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'm seeing more and more of this where we're just looking for all these outside entities to do what we're here to do. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's almost like the mindset is some simple things like school and extracurricular programs and them taking up sports or music or whatever it is. It's like this alleviation of this parental pressure. It's like instead of me doing this, spending $300 for to play flute because I think she's really talented with this bugle or trumpet or clarinet, I'm really doing it for you to plug a hole in my life. Take this bitch for 3 hours. You know what I mean? Your son, this nigga ain't no good at basketball. Fuck all that. Take this nigga for 3 hours. So I think we've gotten so away from that type of shit and using it for the ulterior motive shit that when something goes wrong, we go to blame these people. How about that? Like, how about no? You the father, and I told you when you signed up for this shit to buy the right cleats. We done broke a lot of ankles out here. We know that these Chuck Taylors you can't play football in these. You need the right cleats.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree, man. And I think that, you make a valid point, man, but I'm with you. We have to get back to the basics, and the basics are paying attention to your children, paying attention to yourself, and pouring it and pour into them. Look, I know that sometimes our children can seemingly feel like they're not listening, but one thing I don't know about you, T, and I'm sure, up until you lost your moms, you probably did this, because I do this now with my mom. I'm so thankful for all of the repeated stories, repeated information, because now I look at those moments and I go, man, I'm so glad my mom stayed on me about this, or she explained to me that and gave me those nuggets and jewels, because now I see where they were, applicable to my life, and I see how they have helped me move into the places and spaces that I am in now. And then I was allowing me to now share that information with the generations to come, because that's important. We got to impart this information on the next generation, because yes, y'all are technologically smarter. There's a ton of things that you guys have access to that we just didn't have access to, which is absolutely phenomenal and great. But bigger and better than that is us understanding that it's going to take a combination of what is already known and what's to come, so that we continue to build a greater world to come. And we need those two elements to come together.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A motivating Monday, if we ever had one. And I thank you, my partner in crime, because I know he got some important things to do. Good luck tonight, Amir. Knock him dead. I know you do that just with presence, man. You know what I mean? You're one of those guys that just step in the room and make everything better. Everything better. Whatever they complain about. Thank God, Amir's here. Jesus Christ. I was about to slit my wrist. So listen, brother, have a productive day. Anything in closing for Motivation Monday you want the people to know before we get out of
Yes, it's Monday, guys. Let's make this week, as the great Lord Finesse says, don't count the days, make the days count. And as I always tell y'all, it's nice to be important, but it's much more important to be nice. So y'all get out here this week. As Talon and I started this thing with, check on your friends, check on yourself, invest in yourself, invest in your kids, invest in the things that are going around you, and most importantly, be present.
here.
Be present. You'll always have something wonderful to come out of being present. I love you guys. And as always, let's get it going. And I'll see you later on this week, King.
Peace, King.